So to cut that out, because that was kind of a doomy, gloomy one. I did have this really fun conversation with one of my coworkers about volcanoes and stuff, because he had no idea about volcanoes. Like, he knew they existed, but he didn't know to like the extent of them.
Speaking of that, I had no fucking idea how close Mount St. Helens was to Portland, because we were driving up there the other day, and
it's like 5 hours north of Eugene or something.
And Kristen's, I was like, oh, what's that now? She's like, I think that's St. Helens. I was like, there's no fucking way that's St. Helens. You can't see St. Helens from Portland. Sure as fucking shit, it's Mount St. Helens, because there ain't no fucking top to it.
I think there were some people, like, there's some pictures of it for, like, forever away, and that was taken on, like, one of the high rises in Portland in the 80s when it flew.
Yeah.
Out the side of that bitch. But, so I was like, I said, well, like, what happens when a volcano erupts? I'm like, well, you feel like a little earthquake, and then the pyroclastic cloud comes out of the top of the bitch, and you're really hoping it doesn't collapse, because then you have yourself a pyroclastic flow, and that moves at the speed faster than whatever you're in, and it'll engulf you. He goes, well, is it hot? And I'm like, it's steam. It's rocks turned into steam. It's hot.
It'll cook you alive.
It will cook you alive. He was like, oh, so, like, what would you do? And I was like, you get away. Like, you just don't live next to one. Yeah, and then you can't go to the rivers. You can't do that because you'll get caught up. Yeah, you'll get caught up in a lahar. He's like, what's that? I'm like, it's like superheated liquid sand. And he's like, well, but yeah, I mean, you wouldn't drown enough. I'm like, it's liquid. It's gonna get everywhere. It's gonna get in you. Sand already does that when it's dry. But you can't swim in it. And if you could, you get ground up by the random bits of trees and rocks and vehicles that are stuck in
lots of debris in those waters.
Also,
it's super hot, right? So
yeah, well, I was gonna say,
by the time it got high enough for you to drown in it, you would have been scalded to death.
There's a reoccurring
I don't think they're
with volcanoes,
they're mostly meltwaters.
So
I don't think they're hot. The lahars. I know the pyroclastic.
No. That you're thinking of, like, one of the flash floods. So that's because that lahar is like, it's more liquid mud.
You're liquid mud.
And so it is super hot, which is a recurring theme with volcanoes. If it's something to do with volcanoes, it's gonna be hot. And if Dante's Peak taught us anything, you can't get in the water either, because it'll turn to acid.
Yeah. And for all other volcano-related inquiries, you can watch, I don't know what year it came out, but the Pierce Brosnan classic, Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak. It will give you everything you need to know about volcanoes.
It is a good movie. Cheesy.
And also, that movie is probably the main reason why I've always wanted to put a snorkel on my truck, because I ain't gonna be one of those bastards that has to sit on that damn bridge.
Oh yeah,
or one of those jabrones trying to do it in a Chrysler town car.
I ain't fucking around.
Right. Anyway, but this is not a volcano podcast. It's not a geological podcast. Even though that would be so dope. Can you imagine a volcano podcast?
Yeah, if we did a volcano podcast and rocks and stuff, it'd be awesome.
So this is a granite rock. As you can see, it's much like the size of the basalt rock. However, it's different in many aspects.
You can't see this through my glass, but there is soapstone in here that is keeping my whiskey cold.
This is a Formula One podcast, and with that, welcome
and we drink alcohol while we're doing it.
Welcome to the Tire Preference Podcast. I am Jake, along with Tyler and Dave, and we're here to give you kind of a relaxed, half-ass put together, because I had 3 existential crises this week and couldn't finish the narrative for the Vegas thing.
And Tyler needed to do this 3 days early.
Yes, which was one of my existential crises.
We had a scheduling conflict, or it was like, oh, shit.
So the episode we were going to do was a deep dive on the one of the first parking lot races that, I mean, I'm sure there were more, but the first one in recent history, I guess, was the 81. I think it was 1980 to 82. I'm saying a lot again. Vegas Grand Prix. And it was actually a pretty exciting one. And there was actually, so a while ago we were talking about, I don't even remember what episode it was, but we were talking about accidents and stuff. And how back in the day, when you were sitting in the front of the car, you were so far forward, it was like the pedals and then the very last bit of the nose cone. And I said it's funny because when the fronts get ripped off of those, you just see their little legs dangling out. And there was a crash that happened just like that in the 1981 Vegas GP, where the guy crashed the car, and when the car stopped spinning, he got out of the car like you would get out of a chair. He didn't lift up and then get out; he just got up. And he hobbled off bouncing on one leg because I think he broke his ankle or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And it was 1980 sports, so he probably got back to like the garage and lit up a cigarette and started drinking beer.
He probably already had one in his helmet.
Yeah, he's probably drinking before the race started too.
Speaking of beers, what are you guys drinking on?
Should we get to that? I got Elysian Space Dust. Nothing exciting. I've already had it. Tyler's drinking whiskey.
I'm drinking the same whiskey I was drinking last week.
Dirty hippie.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm also pretty pissed off that you can get
Not
Oakshire
bad.
beer out there, Dave, because I fucking miss Oakshire.
There's a place up the road. We found this liquor store, and the people that run it are fucking incredible, man. They'll like sit there and talk to you about everything. This dude has a special stash of beers that he has that like they only sell a few of, and that's where I grabbed that one goofy one I took a picture of and sent to you guys.
Yeah,
they get all kinds of weird shit and whatnot. So
that's awesome.
Pretty cool. Yeah, it's nice little liquor treasure store, whatever. Treasure trove of a liquor store.
Treasure trove of a liquor store. So this episode, we're going to do a bit of a news talk. There's kind of a big announcement that just got dropped that we were kind of expecting to happen, but nonetheless, it's still pretty exciting. And then we'll talk a little bit.
Catherine store. Sorry, Annie's telling me I have to say it on the thing.
Oh, nice.
Wait for me to finish my sentence, Dave. So we're going to talk a little bit about the news. We're going to talk about the big announcement, the exciting thing. We'll talk about what the future holds with that. And we'll touch a little bit on next week's race, the Miami GP. So,
sure. Breaking news, as according to Google 7 hours ago, Porsche and Audi are set for a 2026 F1 entry as engine manufacturers.
Exciting.
Hold on. Just stop.
What?
Stop
the presses.
There is a different, more important F1 breaking story as of 5 days ago.
This okay, but this was 7 hours ago.
It's better than that.
Fuck you.
Lewis Hamilton was able to chop down that tree in front of his house that was dying.
Oh, that's good.
So can we get to that, please?
Yeah, so Lewis Hamilton can have one sort of victory in his season so far. So he gets to chop down a fucking tree in front of his house.
Some people were saying that the street's gonna look ugly. That's why they wanted to keep it, which is like one of the most British things ever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tyler. I just thought that we should get that out. We can touch back on that later. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, Volkswagen, their CEO or president or whomever the fuck was doing a press
they call
conference.
it chancellor in Germany.
Yeah, it was in German. I didn't watch it. Was talking about the, I don't know, whatever, updates or some shit like that. And they announced that Porsche and Audi would be joining F1 as engine manufacturers, as separate engine manufacturers. So they're both, each sort of team under the Volkswagen umbrella.
So are we getting 2 new F1 teams out of this?
I don't know if they're going to be F1 teams. So far as I know at this point, they're only going to be on as engine manufacturers. The rumor is Porsche will be making Red Bull engines.
Ooh. So Red Bull decided they don't want to make their own engines because that's too hard.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's too hard for a multi-billion-dollar company to make engines.
You got so much money, you can invest in making the perfect engine.
So they are. I'm trying not to say them a lot either.
There you go again.
Yeah, yeah. So they decided that they wanted to do it now because there's a big engine regulation change coming in 2026, and they need about 4 or 5 years to develop an engine. So they didn't think that it would be another 10 years, is what this guy said, before they can try again, before there'll be another change. which leads me into that there is going to be a rule change for engines coming the year 2026.
What could it be?
What was that?
What could it be?
Oh my gosh, let me tell you. There's a bunch of bullshit with aerodynamics and stuff like that, which I read the news story while I was eating Taco Bell and drinking whiskey, so I wasn't really like paying the most attention to the world in it.
That is an interesting combo because you get certain burps from Taco Bell and you get certain burps from whiskey.
There's hot sauce in there too. It's gonna be a mess.
So you had like Diablo, like a hard taco Diablo whiskey burp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I didn't get no Diablo. I got my own hot sauce, motherfucker. I don't need no Diablo sauce.
I feel like that's just like it's like liquid Drano for your guts.
Oh, it's probably going to be. But I was driving down where all the fast food
firing out shit pellets at him next time you have a push.
Yeah.
Gross. Oh, come on.
Oh, God. I'm not calling sick to work tomorrow.
Yeah, get a good book.
I want home court advantage for that one. So anyway,
full court press in the bathroom.
Yeah. The big major engine change. Well, the big changes that are coming in 2026, the cars are going to get a little. This is what they're talking about. This could always change. They want to make the cars a little smaller and a little lighter. So,
which is funny because they were smaller and tighter. Like what, 10 years ago now?
Yeah, have you seen the side-by-side comparison from like Fernando Alonso's championship winning car to the car he's driving this year? It's massive. His new car looks like it was like the old car, but it went through like a midlife crisis and started taking a shitload of steroids and stuff.
Yeah,
so if any of the listeners haven't been or can't quite visualize how big an F1 car is, what do you got there?
Kristen bought me whiskey glasses.
Oh, nice.
Which is awfully sweet of her.
This is not an unboxing podcast, Tyler.
No, it's not. But I also bought other whiskey glasses today too. No, but these are good. We should keep these. Damn it! Don't fucking take my. No, get away.
Get them dirty real quick. Get them dirty. She can't take it back. She can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Spit them. Put your balls in them.
Oh yeah, on this, we're gonna get banned from YouTube if I put my balls in those glasses.
I didn't say do it on camera. You went there. I didn't.
Fucking you were saying to do it right now. She can go back to the store here in a minute.
I did not say right now, not on camera. Plus, we can only see from your nips up, so you can have plenty of room to maneuver your grundle into one of them.
I can stick them on my nipples.
I podcast pantsless.
Yeah, Dave podcast pantsless.
Yeah. Dave was also asked to move to a different side of the campground.
That's why I got the wall.
Yeah.
So when we said Dave built that in the day, we lied. It was built around him because he refuses to not shirt cock it 24/7 in his camper.
Dave only wears polo shirts.
Hey neighbor.
But it's like a crop top shirt. So
yeah. It's a Budweiser crop top shirt from like a 1984 NHRA drag race.
Yeah, exactly. It's got like an NHRA dragster and a NASCAR and a sprint car on it.
There is a crease or a loose sleeve where someone had previously rolled up a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Hey neighbor, just airing the trailer out.
I don't know if this exists or not, but I'm willing to bet if it does that Cody would wear it.
It could be created. You could probably find one of those shirts at a Goodwill.
Probably. So with the redesign to like lose some weight and stuff, they're going to do it a couple different things with aerodynamics, of which I do not know, and they're liable to change. The big thing, at least at this point with the engine, is they want to drop the MGUH, which is the system that takes heat from the brakes and uses that to charge the batteries, like excess heat from the brakes and stuff.
Now, what does the MGU stand for?
My God. Because of like how much it weighs and how
my giant urethra.
Oh, nice. Not a Hank Hill problem.
Opposite.
So the MGUH didn't it served a purpose for some companies because they were getting like the real world testing of it being on like a race car and seeing what it could do, but not for companies like Ferrari, who would have no plans to use it in one of their
road cars.
One of the road cars. So they're going to do away with that. They're going to keep the MG UK, which charges, which is like the hybrid system. So they'll still have the battery pack on it. They're just not going to be generating electricity from braking. And then they're going to do new fuel in 2026 as well. It's going to be like this year they're running with the new regulation. They're running E10, which is like an ethanol blend. Yeah, I think. And then in 2026, it has to be 100% sustainable. Fuel. So I think that they're going to try to get away from fossil fuels, so to speak, but it is still going to be an internal combustion engine.
So here's something that I want. Okay. The reason they dropped the godly sounding V8, I mean, when you're at 19,000 revs at the end of a straight, that's like the orgasm sound of the angels. It's so good. They dropped it to save fuel, right? To be more fuel efficient, smaller motor, turbocharged, more horsepower, less fuel, whatever. Now we're getting to sustainable motors that have sustainable non-fossil fuel. Go back to the V8s.
That's what I was reading that article. I was really hoping to find out that like, oh, we're getting away from using like fossil fuels. Like, why don't we use if it's still internal combustion, but it's all fuels that are created from like, I don't know, fryer fuel or whatever the hell.
God, can you imagine like
biodiesel?
Yeah, it won't be biodiesel, but it'll be something like that. But if they just got rid of the hybrid system altogether,
just smells like burnt oil and wet dish rags and farts.
Yeah,
for 2 hours.
See it now, like the end of the race, especially in Texas. It's just Sebastian Vettel's walking around and picking up fryer grease from everyone,
scraping it. He's got to scrape it off the ground.
But no, that's what I was thinking, especially because a lot of the in car, because I feel like they went to turbo hybrids because they were looking if they could have it in a race car, they could learn from it, and then they could somehow implement it into like a road car. But it seems like a lot of road cars are going in the direction of electricity.
Yeah, well, I think that like the way that like when the relationship you have between race cars and road cars is almost the opposite, where you have something you develop in your car, like for your road car, and then that goes into your race car. Because any research and development you're going to do is going to go to your road car first, unless you're only building race cars.
Yeah.
But I think that I completely lost my point. So that's great.
No, you were saying something about like it would start in a road car and then go to a race car.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know where I was trying to get to.
So it's something about them being opposites. Like,
I'm not. So it's not that I can't think of the word. I am completely in a blank room right now. It's like my brain just erased everything.
Like when you walk into a room and
government's outside, and I put magnets.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Jake just got hit with that flash thing from Men in Black.
It's. I probably should.
Yeah, exactly that thing.
Yeah.
Look into this right here.
You were in a chemical fire, sir. We need you to calm down.
I can't. Like, I'm trying to remember back into I'm trying to remember back in the conversation, and I'm still not getting anything. So I guess just keep on going with your spiel, and I'll remember it when it's out of context, and I'll still try and make my joke.
Anyway,
so sorry.
Because the world seems to be going in more in the direction of electric cars, we also have Formula E. So why not let us burn whatever sustainable biofuels we make, and we could do it in V8s or V10s. Ooh, so
I remember what I was going to say now.
Oh, here we go.
I think that one of the reasons that Formula One has to made the decision to go greener, if you will, is because of the influence that the sport has on everybody. And if F1 is making the pledge to go green, then that might inspire more people to go, okay, maybe this is something.
Yeah,
because I don't know about the rest of the world.
I can do it. Hell yeah.
I was just going to say, I don't know about the rest of the world, but in America.
Or they say, keep politics out of sports.
Yeah. But if NASCAR or whatever never goes like fuel efficient, that's where they're going to be like, well, they're not doing it. If it's good enough for them to use, why can't I have it?
I'm just waiting for like what it also be is you need some sort of like catastrophic crash or something where a bunch of people get electrocuted. And all of a sudden people be like, oh fuck yeah, that's dangerous. Hell yeah, I want to watch that.
Do you see that guy get zapped?
That was fucking nuts.
He touched the car to change the tire and his arm just exploded into sinews and fat.
It was again.
Ridiculous. I was in the 10th row and I got hit with a piece of fingernail right in my teeth.
It was crazy. I can't wait to go back.
My buddy Skeeter got a whole ring finger in his beer, still chugged it.
Yeah. What did they say about like news and stuff? If it bleeds, it reads. It's like it's the same thing with sports. Like,
well, do you think half of those NASCAR people are there? They want to see fucking a fireball.
Or like baseball, man. If baseball was like hockey and they can just start beating the fuck out of each other, like I think that like baseball viewership would be through the roof.
There was a bench clearing fight with the Cards and the Mets just the other day.
Yeah. Here's my theory. Not my theory, my idea. I understand that it's bad sportsmanship and people shouldn't be fighting on the sports field. But if it happens, don't fucking go away from it. And I had this big gripe with NFL Red Zone because my roommates at the time who had no fucking attention span bought Red Zone. And we're watching Red Zone and there was a fight in Seattle. And you know, like Red Zone works where they'll bounce you around to every single game.
Yeah, because they're waiting for the team to get into the red zone.
Yeah, because they're showing like who's in the red zone. And so
well, hold on real quick. Why don't we explain what the hell a red zone is? Because people might get confused.
It's when you're like within the 10 yards when you're about to score. This isn't an NFL podcast. We're not going to fucking.
Well, it's not an NFL podcast, but we were talking about keeping people up to speed. So,
anywho,
off. All right. Anyway, so they're like, oh gosh, there's a fight in Seattle. So we're going to cut to Miami where they're almost within field goal range, and they cut to Miami, and Miami's losing by 50 fucking points. Like, and we're gonna watch them score a fucking maybe miss a field goal. No, go back to Seattle. There's gonna be some fucking penalties and some yards lost. Jesus, but yeah, if it bleeds, it reads. So if there was something crazy like that, it might pump the viewership up.
I think that Seattle for a while had a one-armed receiver.
No, he had. I think he was missing a hand.
Yeah, he was a crooked man. He just had one arm.
A receiver?
No, he had two arms.
That seems
he didn't
a little
have
counterintuitive.
He had one hand.
Is it an arm if it's incomplete?
Yes.
No.
He still had the
it's still
stuff.
an arm. You got an arm.
I don't know if he was a receiver. I think he was a running back or something.
He handled the ball.
Yeah, he was given the ball and he'd run.
Do you think did he put the glove on the nub or just kind of have it?
That's what I would do.
Probably.
as he was running.
Oh God.
Or did he just put like sticky shit on the nub?
Yeah,
so
just so he could
catch the ball like this. Velcro. Whatever, dude. He's way more athletic than I'll ever be. So
yeah, no shit.
I feel like you should be able to make fun of him.
And you got double the hands that he does.
I got more hands. I got twice as many fingers as he does. All right, and now we're gonna move on real quick to the fantasy team, the fantasy game, fantasy
Let's
aspect.
Talk about our fantasies.
Our fantasies,
our personal fantasies that we made up.
So after round one, we didn't do round one because we forgot. So round two, this is starting the second race in. I was in the lead by a pretty good clip with 10 points. Tyler followed with 4, and Dave unfortunately only had 2. Moving on to the Australian GP. After that, I was sitting at 31 points. Tyler was sitting at 27 and Dave was sitting at 28. So pretty close between Tyler and Dave. Pretty close between all of us, really. After this, and this is mostly because my team is Red Bull, I have kept the lead. I'm currently sitting at 47 points. I know. It's only because my team's Red Bull.
Yeah.
Tyler and Dave. Well, I would be so much farther ahead because my number one driver is Sainz and he has been out twice. Tyler, you're coming in after this last round at 42 points.
Fucking hell yeah. What did you have? Sorry, one more time.
I had 47.
Right behind you.
Yeah, right behind me. And sitting right next to you is Dave with 42 also.
Oh, damn.
It was the pit stop that decided it because the way we did pit stop points was first place, the fastest pit stop gets 2 points. The second fastest pit stop gets 1, and the slowest gets 0.
So
and Dave,
I had the second fastest, but his team also had that same pit time. So does that matter? Because we tied it, I still get the second fastest. Because you had a 2.4 and I had a 2.4.
No, McLaren had a 2.2.
Yeah, that was his fastest. That was the fastest pit.
That was the fastest pit.
The second fastest was the 2.4, but we both had a 2.4. So does that matter?
How did that 8.8 feel over Ferrari?
Well, it was a wing replacement, so
it hurt.
It hurt before it even went into the pits, man.
Well,
that was
then if you guys both got it, then you'll both get 1 point.
Damn it.
Because you guys tied. Well, Dave, that puts you at 43, so you're beating Tyler by a point.
Motherfucker! No, I like the other calculation better.
What? If it was the other way around, would you want to have a point or no point?
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Hold on, how does he get a point? Or how do I get a point and he doesn't?
Because there were only 2 fastest times. There was mine, and then you guys tied for second place.
Yours.
My pit crew is McLaren. No, my pit crew is Merc.
Merc, you had the slower time.
Oh, okay. So maybe I did it wrong. So
look at that. The guy who's been calculating the points by himself in the lead. I think he's doing it wrong.
Tyler, that's correct. Tyler has 2 points for his pit stop. I and Dave both have 1.
How? You had like a 4.9 pit stop.
All right, well, I'll change it to 0 then.
Oh, and you had a 4.9 and a 3.5.
4.6. I have 46 points.
No, I'm talking about your pit stop times.
That's what the final thing is about, the pit stop times.
Oh. So you have 46, not 47?
I have 47, not 46.
How do you have 47?
God damn it.
You just subtracted a point. So then you said now you have 46.
Yeah, because I have the slowest pit time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you just said you had 47 after I said you had 46, and that messed me all up.
No, you said, oh, you have 46, now you have 47. I said, no, I had 47.
No, I said you had 47, now you have 46.
You said the opposite.
No, then you said, no, I had 46, now I have 47. I'll play back.
I don't think so, but maybe fuck off. All right. You guys are still losing, so fuck off.
Yeah, not by as much though. So that's kind of a victory.
Sure. Okay, you win. So Tyler, you're in last place. Dave's in second, and I'm in first.
Well, I guess.
God.
Well, we went. What? Tyler and I were tied. Right?
Damn it. No. Yeah, you were tied because I was reading the wrong goddamn thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were reading the wrong thing. Okay.
I changed your score.
Okay, so I had McLaren, right?
I don't even want to do this anymore.
Yeah, it was the 2.2.
Yeah,
but
so
you and I also had a 2.4, which was the second fastest time. So I raised the question, does that matter? Do I still get that point for the second fastest since he also had that same?
Gotcha.
But since he already counted as 2.2, does that nix out as 2.4 altogether? And I get my 2.4.
You choose one time.
Okay.
To post as your pit stop time.
That answers my question.
Okay.
That was a snaky road to get to an easy conclusion.
I can't wait till we do this again.
I felt like I was climbing up a mountain on my stomach, feet first. That's how that felt.
And here we thought we did good by calculating it all out before we hit record.
We should argue it all out before we hit record next time.
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze.
We need a computer program.
Right?
You're using one. I heard your computer, your fingers typing.
Yeah, it's a fucking.
You're right. We do need a computer program. It's called a fucking calculator.
I used it on my phone.
Excuse me. Okay, so those are the fantasy leagues. Jake's still in the lead with 46 points.
Woo!
I'm in second with 33.
Nope,
43. And Tyler bringing up the rear in 42. But not even bring up. I mean, that is. It's.
He's right on your ass.
I feel like this next race is gonna kind of jostle up the positions a bit.
I would fucking hope so.
Anywho, on to the next race, which is
Miami. So, we have the newest U.S. Grand Prix in Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
So it is a counterclockwise racetrack that I need
because Americans like to turn left.
Because we like to turn left. Although I think there might be more right-hand turns. No, there's got to be one more left-hand turn.
There's got to be one more
because it's a counterclockwise. There are 3 DRS zones on this track. It's a parking lot track in the parking lot of the Miami Dolphins, I believe it is.
Is it the Dolphins? It's the Hard Rock Stadium or whatever.
I don't know anything about
I didn't know if it was
Florida
their
sports.
I didn't know if there was their soccer team or if it was the Dolphin Stadium.
I think it looks like the Dolphin Stadium. It's the Hard Rock Stadium.
Is that Dolphins? I don't know anything about football.
I don't fucking
Dolphins
know anything
play. So
yeah,
it is a sporting complex. It's the Miami International Autodrome.
Cool.
Oh, sorry. It's American. It's the International Autodrome.
I'll just start by saying, like, look,
use the proper.
This was like in the middle of nowhere somewhere. This would still look like a really exciting track. Like
it does look pretty cool, but
it's
there's no elevation gains. I'm sure it's going to be a flat track for the most part.
It's also a super long track. It is 5.5 kilometers.
Yeah, really? 57 laps.
Only 57 laps. I think this is one of
those straightaways are
308-kilometer distance for the whole circuit.
I guess not the straight between 16 and 17, but between turns 8 and 11. That looks lengthy and only a little bit of a turn in there. I don't know how much.
Yeah, that's
and
it's going to be high speed
turns
for sure.
So the DRS zones, the first one is the pit straight, which we see DRS zones on almost every track.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is in between turns 10 and 11. So you're coming off this really.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
I think turn 9 is going to be a slower turn than we think, and it might be pretty narrow. But in between 10 and 11, there's supposed to be a DRS zone. This is according to Reddit, so it's Reddit true.
Okay.
And then
do you know where the detection point is on that last one?
No. So the last one
probably
is in between 16 and 17. Which is pretty obvious when you're looking at it because that straight's fucking ridiculous.
Well, isn't that the pit straight? Oh no, never.
No,
pit straight's between 19 and 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know what the detection zone is.
Man, that's a long fucking straight.
It's a super long
really
straight.
Cool looking, though. Yeah,
it's gonna be high speed. It's gonna be an exciting race.
You're gonna see some of those teams stretching their legs out there.
Yes.
So that's probably gonna be pretty good for Red Bull because they got some long legs to stretch.
Yeah.
Assuming that they don't.
Assuming those high speed, like high temperatures, they can keep the durability of the car to a good level.
We'll see how that fuel
finish
system holds up on this one. Yeah. I am excited because, like, for most of the turbo hybrid era, if they've been at a brand new track, Lewis Hamilton always won. Not likely to happen.
Nope.
So that's going to be
most likely, we'll get a brand new winner in it.
Yeah, we will. So just preliminary stuff because everyone knows the weather changes like crazy. No matter where you live, people are always like, "Oh, just wait 5 minutes." Miami's no different. Miami right now, this is a couple days. It's about 4 or 5 days,
6 days away or so. Yeah,
6 days.
Well,
says high of 86 and rain, so it's gonna be a muggy.
Yeah.
Precipitation, I think, gets at most in the afternoon during the race is about 40%, and there's going to be a decent wind going to the northeast. So there might be some wind on the straight. around some of the corners, but rain could be on the new track, which would be really
Yeah.
interesting.
Doesn't it always rain in Florida like at least once a day for
I'm
a
sure
half
it
hour
does.
or so?
Yeah, just it only rains enough to make it really fucking hot. And
Hot and humid. Like
Yeah.
walking through pudding.
There will be balls sticking to legs.
Gross.
So powder up, boys.
Yeah. Powder up. It's race
Get that
time,
gold bond
boys.
ready.
Yeah. Just making bread.
So
That's gross.
oh my god.
Call you Betty Crocker.
Yay, Betty Cocker.
Yay. The with new tracks, there hasn't been the information isn't in the simulators as like existing tracks are.
Mm-hmm.
So I was reading about Red Bull was one of the teams that got their simulator up and running the fastest. Like, go them. And the two AlphaTauri drivers are saying they're really excited. It's a really fun track. That they believe there'd be some good passing points on it. And then with a little more experienced guy, Valtteri Bottas was able to do a sim race there too, and said the same thing. So
I was weird question, or maybe not weird question, but so since this is a new track, nobody's driven on it. How much simulator time do they get to like lock down their braking points and their lines they want to go on before
they'll
they
probably
actually hit the track?
They'll probably get as much as they can in realistically. And then you're going to, so I think I've been really trying to watch all the practices. I'm definitely going to be watching the practices.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
And start, taking notes and shit for the podcast. So the practices, especially P1, is going to be really important to watch. If you're a fan at home and you don't normally watch the practices, this might be a time to, check it out, because
this is a race to do it.
It's going to be so different. And because it's in America, you can watch it at a reasonable time. The practice
12,
one is on
12:30.
Well, here it says 1:30.
Say I got. I'm at my time. I'm on Mountain Time. I forgot.
Yeah.
So yes, this is where I'm in Central right now. So we'll do local time, East Coast time. It'll start at 2:30, and it's going to be on the 6th of May, and then P2 is 2 hours after that, 3 hours after that.
When is the race starts at 2? I think
2:30
1:30
Central.
for me.
So yeah, so it's gonna be 12:30 for you, Tyler, and then 3:30 for the Eastern Seaboard.
Gotcha.
So Annie and I thought that was a perfect time to start a race and start some drinks.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I can't get toasted because I got to take notes.
I can't get toasted because I have to do a wedding that afternoon. So
hey, all right. Is that your first
Yeah.
one, I guess? Or is this why you got ordained?
this is why I got ordained.
Okay.
This will
What
probably be the only one. He does.
One of my mom's friends texted me the other day. She's like, "Oh, I heard you got ordained. That's wonderful. Like, I might need your help. I might have to do that too." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "You just go online to this website, fill out a couple of applications, and then you got to sacrifice an animal. It's no big deal." And she's like, "I don't know if I want to do that." I was like, "I don't make the rules. I'm sorry."
You should just start like marrying random people.
It should be pretty fun. I saw that on trailers around. I think it's around turn 6, 7,
in
and
Monaco, 8. they park their boats down there, and in Florida, they park their boats on trailers.
But it's funny because it's Florida around like a long storage.
Yeah, instead of
boats
cones.
I can't wait to watch some drunken people misbalance the boat on the left side and have it list and then domino the rest of the boats.
Yeah, I'm excited for I would hope that they would do this. You know how they usually have cones set up around like the track every once in a while? Instead of a cone, it's just like an orange flamingo, like that you would see outside of a trailer. All the flags are going to end up being Confederate flags.
Oh man. You still see. I remember the last time I went down south, we saw a bunch of that. I was like, they still fucking wave it proudly too.
There's a really ignorant guy at work, and the other day he was talking about. He's like, pretty soon we're just gonna have to change the name of all the sports teams because they're all gonna be offensive to someone. And he goes, you know what? The Yankees should have to change their team name. And I was like, yeah, but they won. And they weren't fighting for slavery or whatever. And he's like, there was this, the history doesn't matter. They need to rename it. I'm like, I don't know if you're not looking at this from the right perspective.
They don't have valid arguments, man.
Yeah.
They don't come with reason.
I think it was very valid to change the name of the Washington Redskins to something else.
Yeah.
I don't think the Yankees are high.
I'm surprised it
the
lasted
list.
this long.
I don't remember where I heard it. It might have even been at my work. But they said that instead of changing the name Washington Redskins, they changed the symbol from the head of a Native American to a potato. Is that offensive? I don't think so. It's just a redskin potato.
Just a stupid name, but
I would fucking love
to keep
see
the Redskins.
battle. I would love to see battle flags in a stadium where it's just a potato.
Yeah, just people are throwing potatoes. And
what if they won the Super Bowl? The potatoes won the Super Bowl.
Taters win!
Taters win!
Skin on! Skin on! They can serve breakfast.
Oh no.
They can serve potatoes are so fucking. You could do anything with potatoes. You could be French fries or breakfast food or fancy dinner food. Like there's an endless amount of options for that. Plus, if I'm at a stadium watching a football game and sucking down carbs in the form of beer, fuck yeah, I want potatoes.
I think that would be the best thing they could do. I am fully in support that they can keep the Redskin name, just have it be about potatoes. Or have any other NFL team change their name to a potato name, because that's amazing.
The Spuds.
Yeah. The Spuds. But man, the mascot would be really funny looking. It's Steve the Spud.
It would just look like it'd be a potato, but he'd have like black sleeves and legs with big white gloves and shoes, and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm the potato man."
I'm
Steve the potato, and you kids should eat a potato every day to get your potassium or carbs or whatever.
How is like the University of Idaho not potatoes?
I don't know. But I saw this thing. I think I sent it to Tyler forever ago. I don't know if it's a joke or not, but it's this couple that are like super religious, and they decided to practice abstinence throughout their marriage.
Oh God, I call that
lame.
Because I heard that
they were talking about how they turn themselves off when they get turned on, and I don't remember what the chicks was, but the guy said that he eats an entire raw rusted potato over the sink. Just can't imagine this dude with a raging hard cock biting a raw potato and eating it over the fucking sink.
What a waste.
Chow it down to the fucking raw potato.
I saw a video.
A weird species.
Less strange than that, but this guy took his girlfriend's soap and got rid of it, and then cut a russet potato, and so so it looks like a bar of soap. She's like, "Why did you shave my soap? It's weird." She starts washing her face with it, and he's fucking losing it.
But for the uneducated, the russet potato is the brown potato,
and I am 100% going to do that to Kristen at some point.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no.
You're gonna put Elmer's glue inside of her like lotion for her legs.
That's not a bad idea.
This lotion has caused some kind of reaction. I'm peeling all over the place. And you're like, yeah, let me get at that.
I got lotion in my eyes, and my eyes won't open anymore.
You're just like, the lotion says non-toxic and water soluble.
So why don't we come back to that Lewis Hamilton story?
Yes. So I was going to say, I do have a new story about Lewis Hamilton finally getting a W.
Yeah.
He deserves one.
He deserves one.
He needs one.
It also is a good it's also a good like another slice of evidence that sometimes, this is me controversial, sometimes England has cooler names for stuff than we do.
Absolutely.
Right. So
That's
big
about all
issue.
they have that's cooler than us.
Right. Hamilton has, I think it's like a $12 million mansion somewhere in England.
That's it.
It's like in a neighborhood of mansions, right? And there was
That's in a trailer.
I didn't know he could just make a chump change over there.
shit.
For 12 million.
They don't got a lot of room. They got to put all their mansions right next to each other. It's not like he had a mansion that was like 10 miles to the next mansion. So there was a sugar plum tree in the front, and it was causing a bit of a problem. And he wanted to remove it. And all of his neighbors said, "No, you are," and as I quote, or I will quote them, "destroying nature." You were just
they don't like him.
So he had to go. No, they don't like him. So he had to go to a council meeting and put forth to this council that he wants to remove this tree. And
on his own property.
If you were in America doing this, if you were like, okay, this tree, I don't really like how it looks, I kind of want to get it taken out, you would contact an arborist. They're a tree person. Anyone that cuts down a tree or is a tree expert is an arborist. Did we lose Dave?
No.
Okay. Because you were frozen there for a second.
Blown away by the thought of what an arborist
No, you guys
is.
froze and then you kept talking, so I just let it go.
Perfect. So you contact an arborist, which is a cool name. It's a cool name. But Lewis Hamilton contacted the English version of an arborist, which is called, and I'm not kidding, a tree surgeon.
A tree surgeon?
I must phone the old tree surgeon.
Tree surgeon, which I'm sure it's like something that was.
Oh, God damn it.
It has just stuck.
Yeah.
So when you're filling out like your passport information or your insurance thing, you're doing taxes at the end of the year, and it's like state your occupation, you can say you are a tree surgeon.
I like
That's hilarious.
It's like if you were a rocket scientist, you could say you were a rocket surgeon.
Exactly.
Rocket surgeon.
Well, that would be the rocket scientist in England is a rocket surgeon.
Yes.
So
what do they call surgeons over there?
Doctors.
Just it's just like if you're like do like amputations, they just call you a sawyer or something.
Oh, no. They call you a butcher.
Yeah. Yeah. They just
So long story short, he got permission from the council to cut down the tree, which the tree surgeon said was dead and continuously dying. So I guess like most of it was dead, but it was on its way out. It was gonna die.
Beyond repair. Beyond
repair. It is a hazard to keep this tree up. And I don't know what the fuck a sugar plum tree is, but you know, if it falls over, it could do some damage.
I know. I imagine they make some nasty ass fucking pie out of it or some
so
shit like that.
A win for Lewis Hamilton.
A win for Lewis Hamilton. And he got it taken down, much to the chagrin of all of his neighbors. And he has planted instead some kind of apple tree which looks like, I think, because I haven't seen pictures, but I think his driveway, there are a tree on either side and then a gate that he put in to help beautify and privatize the privatize might not be the wrong thing, but
keep out the riffraff.
Yeah, exactly. Keep out the rabble, which he also had to fight for. And but he got this tree, and so now both the trees aren't the same on either side of flanking the driveway, but they are very similar. He is also currently in a battle to remove a small summer house behind his mansion, which his neighbors are also upset about, with one neighbor saying he bought the damn place and he has never set foot in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't he live in Monaco?
No, he lives in Colorado.
He lives in Colorado. People that care about that shit can suck my dick, man.
They can fuck off. It's my
ridiculous.
property. Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. I bought it. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. I did not know he lived in Colorado.
Yeah,
I need to find out where. I want to go stalk him.
Yeah, go stalk him.
I feel like it's Bear something. It's not Big Bear. Or,
I don't know any towns near me named anything like that. So
it's near Garden of the Gods or Eden or something like that.
I'm Googling this to see what Bear City, Colorado or some shit. I'm afraid of the results.
But yeah,
watch, he's like less than a couple miles from me. He's just like right down the road.
When he bought the cabin, he started doing winter sports. I guess it didn't really snow too much where he was in England or whatever, but he's like, he loves snowmobiling, he likes snowshoeing, skiing, snowboarding.
Well, fuck, if you're into that shit, yeah, come out to the mountains, man. There's plenty of that going around.
Let's get to something more fun, and let's talk about our predictions for the next race. So I think I normally make Dave go first because he's on top, but on my view, Dave is on top, and then it's me, and then it's Tyler. And so I think
me, Jake, Tyler.
Yeah, I got mine in the little half screen, so I can do stuff on the other side of my screen there. It's more businessy. It's more professional.
Well, I just need to see you guys.
It's more suit and tie. It's more I have someone drive me to work in my helicopter.
Look at Jake flexing his cat.
Oh wow.
So predictions for the next race. It's gonna be a fucking shit show. I don't know. I feel like these new tracks are always kind of weird and wonky and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think that there's gonna be some mishaps in free practice 1.
Yeah.
I think qualifying will probably put, if they can get their shit together, it might put Verstappen and Perez.
If they can get their shit together.
Well, have they qualified? Well, I guess Hamilton or not Hamilton.
Every time they finish, Verstappen has won.
So we talked about that. That's a stupid statistic because he's only finished half of the races so far.
Yeah, but every time the last 2 races, he got first place.
I don't think he's going to get first place this time.
Just because Verstappen's testicles fit perfectly into your mouth doesn't mean we have to
fuck you, Dave,
about it all the time.
Right. So I felt like that I wanted to add to that, but I'm not going to. This is just too graphic. So I think that, well, I guess I hope that Ferrari does well. I feel like they got it in them to do it on a new track. It's kind of an equalizer, like brand new tracks. So, no one really knows what to expect.
Yeah.
It's a parking lot, so there's no elevation change. It's all flat. It's balls to the wall. Ferrari might not be the fastest in a straight line, but they're really good at following people. Mm-hmm. And with that strip with the
3 DRS zones.
Yeah, the slipstream and the 3 DRS zones, which might not activate if it continues to rain or continues being rained for that day.
Yeah.
I think they might be able to keep up. I think Sainz is going to redeem himself, and he might. I feel like he might finish higher than Leclerc. I just hope that that's first and second, not 19 and 20th for a double DNF.
Yeah.
I think Mercedes is pulling out some really big updates for their car. I don't think Mercedes is going to stay low in the pack. I think that they're just going to keep pumping out the upgrades because they have the manpower and the capital to do that. And the car is going to start to become more and more competitive. George Russell might give some people some hard times, and it might shake things up a little bit. The other person I think is right there, ready to get in the top 5 regularly is K-Mags. I know we've been talking about this a lot, but I mean, the proof is where he's finishing. He's finishing really high, especially for one of the best of the rest teams.
Yeah. The speed of that white Ferrari is just with it on some of those longer tracks.
So I think my predictions are, I don't know if I want to do hopeful predictions or realistic predictions.
Well, you cut out.
Again, for Ferrari. They'll either do really well or they'll do shitty. I don't think they're going to finish in the top 5 without finishing first, second, or second, third. If they don't finish, they're not going to be 4th, 5th. If it's not that, they're going to finish really low, 8th, 9th, maybe 18th, 19th if they fuck up and crash. Wild card, not so wild. George Russell takes the dub.
Oh,
all right.
That's a little wild. Off. That's a little wild.
A little bit.
That's wild.
Tyler, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. I think with what Red Bull's been able to show this season is that they have the straight line speed that cannot be fucked with.
Right.
As long as their fuel system works. My fear is they seem to be every other race. They DNF, they win, they DNF, they win. Then they DNF. But I think maybe they will have gotten the fuel systems figured out. Red Bull's arguably had the most time in the simulator going into the race. So I'm going to say that it's going to be a Red Bull 1-2, and with Leclerc in third is my prediction for it.
For the race?
What was that?
For the race?
Yes,
okay.
for the race. Good at. And then for wild card, I don't know. Wild card, I'm gonna say is twofold. Mercedes will get their upgrades, but they're gonna be shitty and they'll probably be non-competitive. And I give Carlos Sainz 3 laps on this race, and then he gets spun out.
Oh no!
Ouch!
That would be so fucking crushing if he DNF'd this race. I would feel. I think everyone. It doesn't matter how you feel about him as a person. You gotta feel bad for someone who DNFs 3 fucking races, and arguably not his fault.
Yeah,
I mean,
one of them somewhat.
Australia somewhat, because he probably was cooking it a little hard. Probably didn't have a good outlap. He was getting antsy being behind people. But I mean, Imola,
not his fault at all.
Not his fault.
Yeah,
it's just a racing incident.
I guess Danny Rick ran as soon as Danny saw like the video of what had happened, went and found signs after that.
He did.
Oh, he went into the
he ran
right in the garage. That's right.
He didn't even take off his race suit.
Yeah, even with all the engineers and everything right there, he went up and apologized.
He went to the trailer. So
he went to the garage.
No, it was the trailer.
It was the trailer.
It was their like convenience trailer or whatever they call it.
Camper.
Class act. Yeah.
So one thing we also got to think about when it comes to the competitive teams is we've seen fighting with Red Bull and Ferrari. Bahrain's a pretty quick circuit. There's a lot of good straights there. They were really fucking close the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the DNF happened. And then you had the second race on the calendar, the Saudi Arabian GP, also very close together, Leclerc and Verstappen. Now, I think Red Bull has had more major upgrades because they went the major upgrade route in Imola and Ferrari didn't. And based on lap times, that Ferrari and Red Bull would have been a really close pairing in Imola if there was DRS and if the track was dry. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that that's an excuse. I think it's just facts. So this race will be really interesting. We're hoping for an all dry race so we can definitely see them more competitive. But Ferrari's also busting out some pretty good upgrades for this race. So it could be more competitive or more like the first or second GP where they were pretty damn close. Yeah. I think the only time they really misstepped was Australia, where it was just the planets aligned and Ferrari had one of the best weekends they've ever had in their entire lives, and no one could answer. People doing upgrades and then they're getting better, getting worse, getting better. And I think that we're going to see another really close battle between Ferrari and Red Bull this weekend. Not to hijack another prediction, but I just wanted to add that to mine.
Yeah. We'll see. Dave, what do you think?
Let's see. What do I think? My prediction is we're going to have not, I don't want to say super chaotic, but it's going to be an eventful practice, first practice, second practice, third practice. I think a lot of, everyone figuring out the track and how things work on it. We're going to see some spins. We're going to see some contact with the walls. I'm sure somebody's going to crash in practices. Qualifying, I'm seeing a front row, probably Ferrari and Red Bull. Most likely Verstappen. I would like to see Sainz up on there, but it'll probably be Leclerc. Leclerc. And then on the second row, I'm going with Ferrari and Red Bull again, Sainz or Checo. And then the McLarens right behind them. I think both McLarens are going to do well this weekend, at least, for the middle of the pack kind of crew. I think they're going to kind of shine. Mercedes, I think their upgrades they're bringing are hopefully they might get them tested out and everything worked out in practice, but I don't think it's really going to help them for the race.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that leaves me with what? Wild card is there are no fucking gravel traps in Miami. Sainz takes pole. Sainz takes fucking first. That's my wild card.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
I will say it does look like there's some relatively high speed turns in there, which I think Ferrari is a little bit tighter on.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little bit faster on those high speed turns, whereas Red Bull's really good at the straight line. One other thing I'd like to say that just popped in my head. If Ferrari has figured out their porpoising thing, they could be untouchable.
Yeah.
Because the lower the car is, the faster it is. And Ferrari's already pretty low. If they need to go a little bit lower to get rid of that porpoising and they can make it happen, it could be a whole new car.
Well, especially with this track with like zero elevation gain at all.
Yeah.
They can lower that thing and not have to worry about any kind of ups and rises and downs and all that shit. And they, like you said, they're very good at those high speed turns.
Right.
The other thing we can't rule out with it being Florida, it could rain. And that's just gonna,
especially in the afternoon. And I'm pretty sure every time I've ever been in Florida, it rains for like a half an hour in the afternoon for, and it's not just a little soaking rain. It's like a fucking
almost
downpour.
90 degrees. So hopefully if it does rain, it is only just briefly and the track will dry out pretty quickly, especially with all the cars driving around it, because it is going to be so hot. It won't be like a Mola where it was just a cold day.
Well, it's also in early May, so it's not like it hasn't been cooking down there for a while. It's still spring. It still has cooler days and
because that track doesn't, it's hot. If it's humid, the track will stay moist. If it's, and that can affect things. The other thing too is like performance wise, like the cars, it's already hot enough sitting in one of those race cars, but if the air temperature is 90 fucking degrees out and it had been raining, so it's like 100% humidity too.
High dew point.
That
is going to just, you're going to be dehydrated and soaked the whole race and just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Something I haven't seen any official pictures of the finished racetrack. So if you guys have, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I've only seen renderings.
Yeah.
What made me think of this was you saying the elevation change. There might not be that big of curbs. Like there won't be the orange sausages.
Yeah.
When you're going through the chicanes, it won't be a high rumble curb. It might just be straight painted. Because as well, this is effectively a street course because it's not a set racetrack. Once the race is over, the barriers will come down and you won't even be able to notice that it was there. Say spare for some tire marks.
Marks,
yeah.
So that could, people could not cut the corners, but like hug the corners a little harder.
Yeah.
They won't have to worry about the same thing that spun Leclerc out last go around.
We'll see in 3 days when first practice starts.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
We'll see how everybody starts react. That's going to be an important practice to watch. Like you said earlier, I highly advise our viewers or listeners to watch the free practices and see how this new track is gonna, what kind of challenges it's gonna pose for these drivers.
Yep. It'll really give you a good idea of how the race is gonna go. It sounds a little weird, but it's not that far off. You'll be able to see how people are doing You won't see them car versus car, of course, but you'll be able to go, okay, well, I mean, they're consistently doing middle sectors that are really good. They're, it'll give you a good idea.
Yeah, you'll see who's like, oh, they're taking this turn. I mean, they've consistently missed this turn. How are they going to hit that in the race? I mean,
right.
Shit like that. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, I think there are going to be some spins. We're going to see probably see some people into the walls in practices. So
might see some good wrecks. The engineers,
I highly advise watching.
Will be very busy this weekend. For sure.
I believe so. Yeah, new track. I think it's going to be a wild one. So
they're going to bring all the drivers are going to show up in cigarette boats.
Yeah. Oh, are they really? Or did you just say
that?
That would be kind of cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, the cigarette boats are going to be in the water. They're going to be zooming up there.
Well, did you see that?
They're going to get to the boat ramp and they're going to be like, oh, but there's no trailer. All good. Monster truck tires under the boat. Ooh. Drive up on land to drive you to the course.
Did you see those boats on the track that are like, there's fake water around them? Are they like
we already
on
talked
trailers?
We talked about that earlier.
Oh, dude, that's one of the times you cut out.
No, you didn't mention anything about the fake water, but I thought I saw a news story about that.
I didn't know. But
I saw a thing that said like if Giovinazzi doesn't walk across that, I'm not watching F1 ever again.
Yeah. Now we mentioned him earlier about how there's going to be drunk Floridians on them, and they're going to get hammered and go to the left and list the boat and domino all the rest of the yachts.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that, but I didn't know it was about that because beforehand you cut out. So
yeah, I think
Kitty connection. Sorry, we got campers in town now, and everybody's fighting for the same Wi-Fi.
Those motherfuckers.
Yeah, bastards. Dude. We were spoiled being alone in this place for so long, and now we got.
Don't be on a podcast. There will be no one's allowed to connect on when we're recording.
So what do we got? What we got left? Plugs.
I think
I think that's it. I think we'll close it out. Time for plugs and the whole sign off. So this has been the Tire Preference Podcast. Thanks for listening again.
Yeah, thank you very much. Anyone who listens, we very much appreciate it.
We do very much appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys listening, commenting and liking stuff. That helps too.
Spread the word.
Comment,
this is a very word of mouth thing right now.
Word of mouth, grassroots. You guys are our street team. So we need the skid marks to unite in the rubber army and get the word out.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say keep your foot on the gas. Just power through it.
Whoa, hold on.
Oh shit.
We got to do plugs. So
shit. All right. Well.
You can find me not posting anything at the _red_Kennedy45 on Instagram and the Red Kennedy 45 on Twitter. You can also find this podcast on Twitter at the Preference Pod.
I don't know. Say the Twitter account again. You cut out
at Preference Pod or at the Preference Pod. It's one of those. You'll find it because there are no posts. Yeah, there's 3 followers because Tyler's not on Twitter.
Yep.
Oh, here we go again.
Sorry to interrupt, but if you are listening to this in the past, follow the podcast on YouTube at the Preference Pod.
Okay,
Tyler.
You can find me at t.k.66 on Instagram for lackluster Instagram content. I don't ever post shit. Occasionally you'll see a story from me. And yeah, that's what I got.
All right. And you can find me at maximum_Dave on Instagram. I just recently posted a couple things, nothing too interesting. And you can also find me and my wife's adventures at Featuring Friday on Instagram. Where we, share our travels around the U.S. And right now we're in the mountains, and I'm enjoying it.
The same place you've been, which is why we did not do a Dave check-in. Where are you? Because if you want to know where Dave is, just listen to the last podcast.
Yep.
So, with that, I'm gonna say keep it within track limits. Do that in life. Do that while you're racing. Do not get the black and white flag. Keep it within the track limits.
I'm gonna say keep your foot on the gas. Fuck shit up.
And always make sure you hit those braking points.
Yeah. I think we made the joke one of the other podcasts where Taves is pretty much take your foot off of the gas. Tyler says, keep your foot on the gas, go balls to the wall, and Taves is, well, take it off sometimes.
Taves says, take it off, slow it down.
Take it easy.
No big
Slow it
fires.
down.
Take her
Keep
easy.
the music low. Be
I'm
quiet
getting
by
used
10 p.m.
I'm getting used to
Get
that.
off my fucking Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm getting used to that slower paced life. So yeah,
Right.
hit those breaking
Only
points.
2 tents per campsite.
Dave is like 4 months away from an unbuttoned Hawaiian shirt sitting on a hammock with a straw hat.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
already
waiting.
got the straw
I'm
hat.
close.
I'm waiting for Dave to start doing his podcast outside in a hammock.
Oh, dude, when it gets warmer, I
The
will
wind-
be. I will be
The
outside.
wind's blowing super hard. That sound quality will go way down.
Dave's just gonna be off camera. Every once in a while, you're just gonna see the hammock like swing on camera, and then Dave like reach down for a drink.
All right, guys. Well,
right.
I guess the next time we will meet will be after the Miami race, and we'll have a lot to talk about then, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll give you a roundup and possibly do fantasy.
We'll see.
And
Yeah,
then
we'll see how everything goes.
We'll do fantasy, but we'll be a little more prepared for it.
We'll be a little more prepared. We'll do it beforehand instead of during.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, exactly.
And I think there's I think it's a 2-week break between the Spanish Grand Prix and the Miami Grand Prix.
Well, that's lame.
Yeah,
it is a lame. But the race is always really fun in Spain at the Catalunya
Sweet
racetrack.
All right.
Well, anyway,
we'll get to that when we get
We'll
to
get
we'll
to
get
that
to that when
when
we get to that. Yeah.
that.
Until
All right.
next time.
We'll catch you later.
Have a good one.
Love you.
Bye.